Alrighty, we will get started then. Okay, so for today, you will probably want a couple blocks, maybe a folded blanket, or I have a bolster here. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a cushion or something from your couch. Maybe a strap. Yeah, a strap will be useful as well. So we're going to start seated for just a moment. So come onto the floor or wherever you need to be able to sit up well, sitting up straight with a neutral spine, whether that's on a chair or the floor or on a cushion, anything like that. We're going to start with a mudra called Garuda Mudra today. Garuda is eagle. So that gives you a clue as to one of the poses we'll be working on today, eagle pose. The mudra has three parts to it. The hands stay relatively in the same position. They kind of pivot a little bit like this. But other than that, they stay in the same position. So what we'll do is get our hands ready, and then you'll have time to have 3 breaths or so. The hands in the lower belly, 3 breaths in the middle of the torso, and then 3 breaths on the upper chest, like so. So have your left hand closer to you, the right hand on top, and you're just hooking the thumbs together. So on the lower belly, you're going to pivot the hands as needed. The fingers might actually point down a little bit. I'm just going to quickly run through the placement, and then we'll actually do it. So you can get the hands ready, lower belly, and then when you come up to the center, the fingers are more horizontal. And then when you come up to the top, you're continuing this kind of movement with the fingers, so the fingers start to point up at a diagonal towards opposite shoulders. And the base of your left thumb, this part of the hand here, should be right on the sternum. So you can get your hands ready, place them on the lower belly, and close the eyes, or maybe just let the eyelids droop down so the eyes are maybe half closed. Garuda Mudra is said to foster creativity, creative energy, inspiration, insight, and focus. So this might be a nice time to think of maybe a goal or something you'd like to focus on in your practice, in your life, whatever occurs to you that you might want to use that eagle eye, like the eagle looks out off the cliff for its prey, or as it flies around, it's looking for its prey. We're not necessarily looking for prey, but we're looking for something to focus our minds on, and maybe set an intention, if you like. So I'm going to give you plenty of time. I'm not going to count the breaths. Just take nice, slow, deep breaths, 3 in each position. I'm going to count very slowly so everyone has plenty of time. And then if you're finished and it seems like other people are still going, or I haven't said anything, you can just release the hands, or the next thing we're going to do is lying down on the back. So you could just lie down on your back and wait for me to continue. So let's start. So folding the hands on the lower belly. Close or half close the eyes. And start with your 3 breaths here. In and out through the nose. So take your time. If you're done, come to lie down on your mat. Don't need any other props for the moment. And for the first few moments, just hug the knees in. And then we're actually going to take a few moments now in a Supta Baddha Konasana, which means the soles of the feet come together and the knees fall apart. I'm just going to be here for a few moments. So sometimes we prop under the outer legs. I'm going to say, let's try to forego that for today because we're not going to be here that long. And we just want to start to open up a little bit. The poses that we're going to be working towards, eagle and also a little bit of cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Hips are actually not really in a position that's opening up like this so much. But very often, I like to do something that's counter to what I'm working towards. And I find that actually sometimes really prepares me as much as really concentrating on doing the same thing as in the pose I'm working towards. So here, the hips are opening up, the inner thigh is getting stretched out a little bit, and it's softening the outside of the hip. This is where we're going to really be stretching and feeling a lot going on later. So now we're just enjoying the moment of this not doing anything, really, really softening and having that moment of reprieve in advance of what we're going to do. So you can just rest your hands on the floor or on your body, taking a few breaths and letting the knees just spread apart. Not even really thinking about bringing them down towards the floor. Just think of widening them out to the sides. Just a couple more breaths. Good. And then slowly, you can use your hands for this. Bring the knees together. And then cross one leg over the other. The knees are close together. This is not ankle to knee. It's more like knee to knee, just very casually crossing the legs. And then we're just going to do a tiny little cross leg stretch here. Just hugging the knees straight in. Just letting the feet be relaxed, falling out to the sides wherever they want to go. And just hugging in, a couple breaths like that. Release and switch to the other side. So for this, most of the first part of class, I'm going to be doing everything sort of oriented sideways to the camera. So I'm not going to mirror. I'm going to do the same side that I'm telling you to do. I'm going to do the right side if I'm telling you to do the right side, just to keep it simple for this first part. Good. So we've done both sides with this little mini cross-legged position. Eagle and cow face pose have, different things going on with the legs, but the similarities are also there. And one of them is that the legs are crossed in some way. Okay, so we're going to come back down, feet on the floor, and now just let the left knee fall out to the side, just like it was in your Supta Baddha Konasana, only the right knee is going to be up. Arms are down on the floor, palms down, And we're just going to lift up half to a bridge. So with the right leg, think I'm going to be doing a bridge. So the right side of the back comes off the floor. The left side stays down at first. And the left leg kind of presses down more towards the floor when you do that. It's kind of like a half of a bridge. So don't overdo it. You're just going to come back up. So now the left knee is up and the right knee drops out to the side, and then press into the left foot so the left side of the back comes up off the floor. So we're going to do it again. Other side, so now the left knee comes down, the right knee is pointing up. You can do the same thing again, or you might find if you press really hard through the right leg, you can lift the left side up off the floor as well. And then the left lower leg presses into the floor and maybe everything comes up. The right side is up higher though. And then come back down and do the other side. Maybe lifting the whole back off the floor and come back down. I'm going to go back to the first side again. So the left knee's pointing to the left side. Now you're going to bring that right knee, the whole right leg, not just the knee, the whole leg, and just stack it on top. So going towards a twist. This is the first position. If you need to stay here, you can stay here. Or if you want to try, bringing the right knee up more. So it's moving in the direction of your head on this side. You can use the left hand to just kind of encourage it up. So it's still in the twisted or folded over position towards the left side, but it's coming up. And then you might find that the right foot goes past the left knee, okay? And then you're gonna find that your right foot can come towards the floor. First, we're staying in a twist. Then you're gonna turn the right knee up. So the right foot plants down, and then use your left hand to gently push that knee away. And take a couple breaths there. Now, if you have that right foot on the floor, you'll see that your right ankle is on the top of the left knee. That's very convenient because we're going to come back onto the back, bringing the legs with us as they are, and you come to an ankle to knee position, our figure four stretch position we often do. We are going to do our figure four stretch now, but we're not going to use the hands. So the right foot stays flexed, and we're just going to contract the left quad, left hip flexor muscles to go into the stretch just using the strength of the leg instead of pulling with the arms like we usually do. Right knee still going out to the side. And pushing. I'm pushing my left knee this way. Good. Then lower back down, bring the left foot to the floor. Try to think of bringing it to the center or midline of the body this way, because we're going to come up to a figure four bridge to open up those hip flexor quad muscles we just worked. And release that. Uncross that right leg. And then you're going to drop the right knee out to the side. And we're going to go into our twist here. So now the left leg folds on top. Just in your twist at first. You can always just stay here if this is already kind of intense. Or you can start to try to bring this left knee up. So it's just moving horizontally along the floor, but coming up in the direction of the head. Use this hand to help it along. And if possible, try to get it to pass where the knee is, the right knee. And then from here, we're going to plant down the left foot and push away with the hands. The right hand. Good. And now you'll see your left ankle is on the top of the right knee, and just roll back onto your back, and you're in your figure four position. So again, not using the hands, keep the left foot flexed and just try to bring this right knee up towards your chest. Left knee's going out to the side. Couple breaths, and then release. Bring the right foot to the floor. Think of having it in the middle. Even though you can't see where it is, try to like kind of sense that it's not over to the right side, it's kind of in the middle. That just makes it more stable to come up into your figure 4 combo bridge position. Good, and then slowly back down. Uncross, hug the knees in again. Roll over onto your side and come up to your tabletop position. Into, let's see here. Just gonna move some of my stuff away here. I want to have your blocks kind of handy. I'm gonna use them in a little while. First, just in your tabletop, we'll do cow and cat a few times. Big inhale, looking up, arching the back, and then exhale, round the spine, push the floor away for your cat. And continue a few times on your own, inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat. Nice and slow, bringing the movement into sync with the breath. So redo this little hair thing. And you can continue a couple times, and then maybe after your next cat pose, go on back to child's pose. Hips back towards the heels and rest back in your child's pose for a moment. So as you take a moment in child's, I just want to mention that after today, I'm going to be taking a break from doing these live classes on Friday afternoons. I have a couple other things I need to take care of, and I hope to start up again at some point, but I do not know when that will be. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please let me know. Different time, or I will also be just continuing doing videos that I can just upload, and they don't have to be done at any particular time. They're for your convenience. You could do them anytime. It just won't be live. So just kind of weighing some different options there. Just so you know, that's why next week I won't be live at this time. In the future, I'll let you know what's going on. You can always subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you'll get notifications about anything going on. So let's come back up out of child's pose into your tabletop. Keep your hands where they are, and then walk the knees back to come to your puppy pose. So see how far you need to go back in order to come down with the upper body in line with the arms, reaching forward with the arms as well as pushing back, so you can lengthen through the spine all the way through that tailbone pointing behind you. And take a couple breaths there, just lengthening out. And then from here, we'll transition to our Sphinx pose. So coming forward, plant the forearms down and shift far enough forward that you have your shoulders over your elbows in your Sphinx. Legs are parallel, pressing down into the floor, press the forearms down, spread the fingers out, engage the core, and think of that marble on the floor underneath your lower belly. Can you suction it up off the floor? Hold on to all of that as you inhale, looking forward in your Sphinx. And now we're going to go through our little floor sequence. Inhale here. As you lift the elbows a little bit, the heart goes up and over to reach forward as you drag the hands back. Inhale up to cobra, any height. Exhale, reach the heart up and over as you go forward with control. Straighten the arms. Inhale, locust, legs come up as well. Keeping everything up off the floor. Exhale, reach the arms forward, palms down. Inhale back to Sphinx. So this very first move from Sphinx to Cobra, we have to control the upper body, right? We're not going to just start to move the hands and just flop down on the floor, right? It's done slowly with control. So it's a lot of core work to make that happen. Okay, if we are not aware of holding on to all of that, then we're going to kind of collapse, right? We're going to come to like this kind of hang dog position as we move the hands from Sphinx to the Cobra position. So that's part of that's my whole idea in doing that transition is to try to keep that awareness. So let's do it one more time with that awareness. So inhale to your Sphinx, engage, hold, cinch the core. Exhale, reach forward, drag the hands back. And then when the hands are in position beside the lower ribs, inhale to Cobra, any height that you like. Exhale, forward, straighten the arms. Inhale, locust. Last time, keeping everything up. Exhale the hands forward. Inhale back to Sphinx. Very good. And then push all the way up and back to Child's Pose once again. Okay, so for here, let's see. We're going to go up to our downward facing dog. After I adjust the curtains a little bit because the sun has moved and now it's just right in my eyes when I look towards the camera. Let's do a little bit. That should work. Okay, so here we are. Coming out of your Child's Pose, come to your tabletop again, a little bit towards the front of the mat. Shoulders over wrists, stretch one leg back, the other leg back, and then finally push up and back to your downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths, letting the heels descend towards the floor. Bringing the tops of the thighs up and back. Good. And then you can pedal out the feet a few times. Good. And then from here, we're going to come to plank and back to down dog. I'm going to do that a few times. So inhale forward to plank. Exhale back to down dog. Each time you move back to down dog, imagine that there's someone with a belt or strap right around your hip crease there pulling you back. Good. Next time we come forward to plank, inhale and drop the left knee. Okay? So the right leg is still back. Now we're going to step that right foot forward. So we're coming towards our crescent lunge by stepping forward instead of back, as we have often done. Come up, inhale, crescent lunge. As you come down, you're going to turn towards your right leg, turn towards your front leg. We're coming into a twist. Different ways you can do it. You can just have the back of your left arm outside the right knee, right hand to the sacrum, then you're twisting around. if maybe this elbow can get to the outside of that right knee, then you can do your twist with your hands in prayer position. I'm just going to stay here a couple breaths. Any amount of twist. Looking up past your right elbow. If you're here, just looking up to your right. Try not to lose your balance in your twist. Good. So this connection between the arm and this outer knee is really important for the twist. So we want to press with the elbow or the back of the arm because that helps us go into the twist, but we also want to keep the leg pressing into the arm. So the leg is not getting pushed aside, right? So there's equal pressure between the two, between the arm and the leg. Good. One more breath. The next inhale, go back to your crescent lunge, arms up. Inhale. Good. And then exhale, hands down. Inhale, tuck the back toes, straighten the back leg, and try to straighten the front leg any amount for your Parsvottanasana. Now, you can use blocks here if you need to under your hands. Trying to get both legs straight. And then we're just going to kind of wave the hips side to side. Just a few times. Continuing to breathe as needed, just going back and forth a few times. Just noticing different little areas that get a little stretched when you do that. Good. Now, rebend the front knee. Keep the hands as they are, either side of this front foot. You can still use blocks if you need. Might be actually very helpful to have blocks because it'll give you a little more space. What we're going to do now is kind of like a lizard pose, but we're not going to worry about lowering the upper body down. We're just going to roll to the outside of the right foot and let the right knee come out behind the right arm. Try, if possible, to keep the left leg straight on the floor. Straight back, not on the floor, sorry. If you need to, for balance or stability, to put the left knee down, you certainly can. But if possible, try to keep the leg straight off the floor, reaching back strongly through the left heel as you let the right knee come outside. We're just going to go back and forth a couple times with that right knee. Notice how when the right knee goes more out to the side, it makes you a tiny bit lower to the floor. Because in a sense, you're making this leg shorter. So then you might find a tiny little bend in the elbow, but only just matching the amount you come down because the knee is moving out to the side. Okay. I like this better than regular lizard, personally. Now you're going to bring that knee back in, drop the left knee. We're going to start to shift back, like we're going to go to an Ardha Hanuman, a half split position. Straighten out the front leg, but notice not sitting all the way back. Now here comes the interesting part. We're not going to continue to go straight back. We're going to go over to the left side. Okay, so if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I want to come to sit down outside my left foot. Okay, so everything has to shift a little bit to my left so that when I come back to sit, I'm to the other side of my left foot. My left foot is here. The right leg just comes along for the ride at first. So this bottom leg is folded underneath you. The left leg is coming around, so the left foot is outside the right hip. So it's the bottom leg of our seated spinal twist position. Excuse me. Now, try to sit evenly on your sitting bones. In other words, sometimes you come back and you're kind of leaning over to the left side. Adjust yourself. You don't have to stay that close to this left foot if it helps you to adjust a little bit away. If that helps you sit down more, you can try that. Now we're going to do our seated spinal twist, or Ardha Matsyendrasana. We're going to bring that right foot in and place it on the floor outside the left knee. Now usually when we do this, I always say you can straighten out the bottom leg if it's hard to sit. And you can certainly still do that if you need to here, because it is a little bit much. It's a little intense. So you just straighten out the bottom leg and you just do the twist like that. If possible, though, try not to, because when we have this bottom leg folded in, it brings a whole new level of uh, opening for the hips, both hips. This one you feel more on the outside, but the bottom one is getting a little something too. So anyway, we're going to twist around to the right. Right hand comes to the floor behind you, and you can just wrap the left elbow around in front of that right knee, or just use the arm at whatever place you need it to be. Try to sit up straight as the spine does a little spiral. If you like, you can cross the elbow over and get that pressure. So it's sort of like the twist we already did, with the arm and the leg getting equal pressure against each other. Good. Finally, release the twist. Keep the legs as they are. You're going to move your hands to the other side. So a little bit of a counter twist for a moment here. And now we're going to unwind ourselves out of this twist by placing the hands on the floor. You might need to lean over a little bit and then try to come all the way around. And you'll just end up, facing whatever angle you're facing in kind of a wide forward fold. You can hold on to that forward fold for a moment. Eventually, just line yourself up so you're doing your forward fold straight ahead on the mat. Well, we turned around from where we started, but now this is the new front of the mat. And just take a moment in your forward fold. Walk the hands forward, walk the feet back to down dog. Take a moment to lengthen out in your down dog. And then on your next inhalation, come forward to your plank as you put the right knee down. Exhale, step the left foot forward and place it for your crescent lunge. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale. As you come down, you're going to go into your twist. You're turning towards your left side. Either the back of the right arm presses against the outer left knee into arm at the same time. Or if you can get the elbow there, you can do this with your prayer position hands. Either way, remember you have that equal pressure between the arm and the leg. And just hold your twist. Few breaths. And then as you release your twist, we're going to go back up. Inhale, crescent lunge again. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, tuck the back toes and push back to your Parsvottanasana, trying to straighten the front leg. Of course, use your blocks here if you need. And then you're just going to wave or wag side to side a few times. And then come back to center, rebend that front knee, and come on to the outer edge of the left foot with the left knee going out to the side behind the left arm. So if you're here and the arms are kind of back and the foot is in front, your knee is going to run into the arm. So you just have to make sure the hands are a little bit forward so that knee can come out. Keeping the right leg straight back. And we're just going to go back and forth with that knee a few times. The knee goes down, you might bend the elbows just slightly because you're closer to the floor. You're not bending the elbows to get closer to the floor. They bend because you're coming closer to the floor. Okay, very good. And then come back to center with that left knee. Drop the right knee to the floor and start to move back towards your half split. And just like on the other side, we're going to sit to the outside of that right foot. So as you start to move back even more, let the hips come over to your right side so that when you come to sit down, your right foot is over here outside the left hip. And the left leg just comes along at first. And again, seeing if you can sit evenly on the sitting bones. If you need to adjust a little bit, totally fine. And then we'll come to our seated spinal twist on this side. So this left foot has to come in and get planted down onto the floor outside that right knee. As before, you can straighten out this bottom leg if needed. Otherwise, you're going to keep it folded and twist around to your left. Right arm wraps around, left hand to the floor behind you. And adjust this arm as you like. Twisting around, keeping the spine as straight up as you can. So you're not leaning back on the back arm. Good. And then slowly unwind. Bring the hands to the other side. We're going to do our counter twist again. And we're going to take it into that unwinding into just a wide forward fold to start with. So if you need to walk the hands a little bit further away, you can do that. Otherwise, just unwind everything and take a moment in a wide forward fold. And you can realign yourself straight on the mat. And then if your feet are wide apart, we're going to bring them together. We're going to heel toe the feet together. And then we're going to come up through Utkatasana. So, sitting back, you can keep your arms down at first. Just eyeballing the tips of the toes, the fronts of the knees, and the sternal notch here should be lined up vertically as best you can. And then finally, arms up. And take a couple breaths in Utkatasana. And then finally pushing the legs straight, come all the way up to Tadasana. Good, so we're going to do a couple stretches for the arms. And then we'll try eagle pose. So we haven't really done much with the arms. Eagle and cow face pose both have an arm component and the leg component. We often do them separately. We can do them together. Since we've spent so much time thinking about the legs, we're probably going to concentrate on the leg position. But if you know the arms, you can do them. We're going to do a stretch now that is using the Gomukhasana arm position. So you're going to take your strap, your belt, your scarf, necktie, whatever you have. Hold it in one hand. If you have a buckle, like it's a yoga belt with a buckle like I have, just hold the buckle in the top hand. You can do either hand first. So then you're going to bend that elbow so that the strap goes down behind your back like so. The other hand comes behind you, palm facing out, and you grab onto that strap. So we're not going to worry about trying to hook the fingers or anything. We're just using the strap to stretch each arm individually. So the way you do that is, first we're going to stretch the bottom arm. So the top hand pulls up. So this hand, my left hand behind my back, gets a little bit of a help going up the center of my back. Just a little bit. Be gentle. And then you do the opposite. You take the bottom hand and pull down. And then you'll feel this top arm, maybe this along this tricep, all the way down to the lats, the underarm area. It's all getting really, really opened up. So this arm position, Gomukhasana, is actually the opposite direction that you would need to go to for eagle arms. But again, sometimes by going the opposite direction, it gets us ready to go where we really want to go. So let's switch hands. And do the same on the other side. So the other hand is now holding the strap reach around, grab it with the other hand, and that bottom hand, in this case, my right hand, is going to pull down first. Well, I think I did it the other order on the other side. I don't think it matters too much. And then the top hand pulls up. Okay. Good. And then release. Just gently wiggle out the arms a little bit. Keep the strap handy, we might need it for a moment. So now we're going to actually do our eagle pose. If you have a wall or chair, back of a chair, something handy for your balance, you might want to just have it within reach. So stand close to something. For this, I'm going to be facing the camera, so I am going to mirror you guys. So first thing you're going to do to get ready to do eagle pose is turn your toes in a little bit and bend your knees. That's all. So it's a little pigeon-toed, kind of awkward looking position. This is how one of my favorite yoga teachers, Allison West, teaches how to get into eagle pose. Think of the shape your legs are in now. You want to keep them in that shape. So we're going to stand on the left leg, bring the right leg in front. Do not straighten out this leg, okay? You want to keep it in the same shape that it's already in. At first, you can just touch the right toes to the floor, to the outside of your left foot. Okay, so this is going to be your beginning eagle pose. You don't even have to go any further than this. And you can balance because you still have the toes touching the floor there. Most important thing is to keep your standing leg bent. So think of it's like Utkatasana that we just did, right? Your knees stay bent. Because if you keep the standing leg straight and really try to wrap the foot around, as we're going to try to do next, if the leg is straight, it's very difficult. You're just making it harder for yourself. Okay, so here we are. Standing on the left leg, right leg wrapped around in front. The right leg is on top. So to do the arm position, if you know it, your right arm would go on the bottom. If you want to do just a really basic version of an eagle arm position, you would just hug yourself. Right arm on the bottom and just reach around for opposite shoulders, and you're just doing a little basic eagle pose with the arms. If you know your eagle arm position, from that position, you might want to swing the arms into it to get them crossed really, really high up. And then you would lift the hands up. The backs of the hands are facing towards each other. If possible, you would wrap around. So the fingers of the bottom hand come towards the palm of the top hand. If that's very difficult, but you still want to try it, you just grab your strap and hold the strap between your hands so that they have some kind of connection. Otherwise, it gets very fatiguing to hold them without holding on to anything. So here we are. I know it's been a long time. We're almost done. Last option, if you want to try, is to hook the bottom foot around the calf of the standing leg. You'll notice when I did that, I didn't try to lift my foot up, okay? I didn't try to bring my foot up to the calf level or anything like that. I want to keep that foot low because when you wrap around, you want to go to the narrowest part of your leg, which is around the ankle. If you bring the foot up higher, you're making it harder for yourself because you're wrapping around the calf, which is a bigger part of the leg, right? It's a bigger circumference. So you want to keep that foot nice and low, and then it almost has like a little place where it can hook in. So if you've got all that, or maybe you're here, you're just going to sit down in your eagle pose. Down, 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 down. Keep looking forward. The hands are right in the center, so your one eye might be on one side of the hand, other eye on the other side, but look ahead past your hands and try to focus on something with both eyeballs across the room. And hold a couple breaths. And then when you come out, take a big stretch out, and then we'll do the other side. So eagle pose is a very introverted pose, right? for like folding ourselves in. So it's always nice to have a nice big inhale, stretching everything out. So now we'll stand on the right leg and do everything on this side. Again, you can think of this position to start with both knees bent. I just want to pick this leg up and put it here so it's two puzzle pieces kind of locking together. At first, you can always just keep the left toes on the floor for balance. Left leg's on top, so now the left arm will go on the bottom in your arm position. You can just do a hug, arm position, or again, lift the hands and see if you can find some connection, either the wrap itself or maybe using a strap. And now, keeping the standing leg bent, that's going to help you keep the other foot low. See if you can maybe hook that foot around. And still sitting down, focusing past the hand, something across the room. Thinking of sinking down, just like in a chair pose. And then when you want to come out, unwind everything, unwrap everything, take a big inhale, stretching everything out. So that was eagle pose. Always fun to try. Oops, I didn't say that. Okay, wrong class. Okay, so now we're gonna finish up with Gomukhasana. Okay, so that is cow face pose. So that's the one I was talking about. In terms of legs, hip opening, all that has some similarities to eagle, but a lot of differences as well. So we're gonna try it. My favorite way of trying to get into Gomukhasana. It's a very hard pose for me. Some people can sit in this. Some people just sit in this without even knowing that's a yoga pose because they're so Gumby, whatever, they can just flop into it. So if you don't need to sit on something, you don't have to. I'm gonna have this bolster here. I'm gonna come back to sit on it. So what that means is if you have something similar, you could use it. You don't have to. You could use a cushion, something kind of firm-ish, not like a squishy pillow. You could even take a folded blanket or a couple folded blankets and stack them like this. You don't have to use anything. You could also use a block. The advantage of using something that's a little bit squishy is when I come to sit on it, I'm not going to be sitting up on top. I want my sitting bone to be at the edge and almost like falling forward, okay? So if it's squishy, I can get that. I'm going to get a little more light here. 1 second. Okay. So all of that is to lead up to how we are going to do Gomukhasana. We're going to go back into Gomukhasana. For many reasons, is what I find to be a much easier way to get into it than sitting and then trying to fold my legs up. Okay, so one leg is going to be in the position that the bottom leg of our seated spinal twist was. And the other leg is going to be similar, except instead of the knee pointing up, it's going to point forward. So let me just show you. If you already know Gomukhasana, you might be able to just pop into it. I'm going to come into downward facing dog with my feet a little bit beyond the front end of the bolster. Here. So it's kind of between my ankles. So I'm going to bring my left foot across, and then the right foot will cross behind. Okay, you could do either side first. I'm just showing, what I'm doing. So the legs are crossed. So you're going to cross-legged downward facing dog. You're going to put your knees down and notice your feet are going off to the opposite sides. You're going to walk your hands back You're going to try to sit down on the very edge of your bolster, cushion, what have you. Now, this is your Gomukhasana position. You probably, like me, when you do this, I always come to more to one side than the other. I come to the side, I don't know what this is. I come too far to the side of the bottom leg. Whatever. Don't worry which side it is. Just check that you're centered between your feet. And if you're centered, you don't have to do anything. If you are not centered, then you might want to just replace yourself, which might mean adjusting the bolster a little bit so that you're evenly between the feet. Now the feet are not symmetrical because this leg is on top. So this foot might be a little more forward. That's okay. You can try to even them out as best you can, but don't worry about it because they'll never be perfectly symmetrical. So your feet are like the ears of the cow. This is the snout of the cow. So we're not going to worry about Gomukhasana arms because it's just really too much at this point. We're just going to do a very simple version, which is just hands behind the back, reaching towards the opposite elbows. You might be able to actually reach the opposite elbows, or if not, you're just holding the forearm close to the elbow. Sitting up nice and tall. After all that, just try to smile and sit up tall. Last thing, optional, take a big inhale, and then on your exhale, start to fold forward, keeping the spine long and straight, folding forward. You can keep the hands behind the back as they are, or if you need to, you can put them in front for stability, but you're trying to lift up and over the legs as if you want to hook your rib cage over the knee here. That's how long you're trying to get the trunk up and over. Oh, it's a big daddy long legs on the floor over here walking towards my mat. Let's see if we can get him to go into the corner or something. Okay, and then coming up to sit. Oh, don't come on my mat. Just, oh, now he's going under my mat. No, don't go on my mat. Oh my gosh. All right, sorry. He's on there somewhere. Okay, let's do the other side. So remember which leg you crossed in front. You're gonna come back to your down dog. And I had my right leg in front before, so now I want my right leg behind. No. Yes. No, that's what I just did. Other way. I want my right leg in front this time. No. Sorry. The spider confused me. Okay, yes. You'll probably be able to feel if you did it the wrong way. This is the way I just did it. I'm sorry. Yes, I want the, yes, this is the other way. You'll probably be able to feel if it's the same way or not. If it feels like very comfortable, it's probably the same way. If it feels different, it feels hard, then it's probably the other side, which is what you're supposed to be doing now. So again, check that you're centered between your feet, adjust if necessary, and then holding opposite elbows, sitting up nice and tall. And I should have said, you don't have to sit on anything. If you get into this position and it feels like, wow, that's no sweat, then try it again without sitting on anything and see how, or sitting on something much lower and see how that goes. So again, sitting up nice and tall. I'm sitting on the very edge of the bolster. So I have this sense of almost falling forward towards my legs, which is helpful for folding forward. So go ahead and try that again. Again, feeling like you just want to lengthen out so much you could just hook the front of your rib cage over the knee here. Keeping the arms behind the back, helps keep the spine long, but it's a lot more work because you have to hold yourself up. So try it one way and then the other. And then when you're ready, come up to sit. And to come out, I prefer to go back to downward facing dog so I can straighten out my legs and stretch them out for a moment. So you could do that. Or if you just want to unfold them, that's fine as well. And then from your down dog, you can finally just put both knees down and sit. And then we'll come to lie down on the back once again. Just want to make sure my little friend went away somewhere, so I'm not going to lie down on him. Yeah, I think he's gone. Okay, so lie down on your back and hug your knees in towards your chest once again. Taking a couple of moments here. You can stay like this, or if you want to come to a happy baby, bend the knees, separate them, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, holding the backs of the knees or the outer edges of the feet. And take a couple breaths there. Release the feet. And we'll do a quick bridge and then a supported bridge. So you might want to have your block or bolster, some kind of prop handy. First, just a regular bridge, bringing the feet to the floor, legs are parallel, hip width apart, arms down, and come up to a nice gentle bridge. And after a couple breaths, come on back down. Then we'll do our supported bridge. So if you have a block, lift up just enough you can get that underneath you. And rest the sacrum down on the block. Now, if you have a block or something that's really stable, after a few breaths here, you can also lift the legs straight up and just stay for a moment. Just lifting the legs up to vertical. So you can just get a little mild inversion. If you're on something that's squishy or not really stable, it's not worth it to potentially have an accident and fall over. So you don't have to lift the legs up at all. You can just keep the feet down and a supported bridge. If you do lift the legs up, just stay for a few breaths. And then release the feet back down to the floor and stay in your supported bridge a little bit longer. Also optional to straighten the legs out on the floor in your supported bridge. So stretch one leg forward, check out how does that feel for your lower back. If it feels reasonable, you can do both legs, but definitely don't force it if it feels too intense on the lower back or any place else. Just keep the knees bent. A few more breaths. And then finally take the block out, come all the way down onto your back. We'll do our Shavasana next. So setting up, make sure that you are choosing the right Shavasana for you for today. It doesn't always have to be exactly the same. If you're fine just on the floor, just straighten the legs out for a moment. Really push the feet away to make sure the legs are really lengthened out. And then relax the legs. Maybe the feet roll open a little bit. Just let them do what seems to be natural for them to do. Arms down, palms up. If you want to do any other position for Shavasana or lie down anyplace else rather than the floor, your choice. Go ahead and find that comfortable spot. And then once you're all settled into a comfortable spot, we'll start with centering breath. I feel like little friends are calling on me now. Centering breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Nice and softly and gently. After you've done 3 to 4 centering breaths, go back to breathing in and out through the nose. Otherwise, keeping the breath nice and soft and gentle. And try to release any other unnecessary effort, whether that's in the body or the mind. Just really looking at what you're doing physically, mentally, whatever, and thinking to yourself, is that really necessary for me to do in just these few minutes that I'm in Shavasana? What can I let go of? And just continue to try to let go of as much as possible without worrying, that you're not doing it right or not letting go of as much as you can, because the worrying itself is something that you are holding on to. So letting go of that as well. And letting the breath continue to quiet down. As you find stillness in the body and quietness in the mind. If you would like to remain in Shavasana longer, please do so. If you'd like to come out now, just start to wiggle the fingers and toes, stretching out along the floor, any direction. And when you're ready, bend your knees and slowly roll over onto one side. Take your time. Eventually come to push yourself up to sit, any comfortable seated position. And pressing the palms together in front of the heart center. Take a moment to thank yourself for practicing today, giving yourself that opportunity, that gift. And thank you from me for practicing with me. Be safe, be well, and I will be in touch with you very soon. Namaste.